Hi, I would like to show you how I solved the confidence conference challenge. I guess the name is krkanalytica scandal, which is obvious reference to Cambridge Analytica. The task was created by Securing company. And basically there is some description and our task is to get the secret codes file from this AWS S3 bucket krkanalytica confidential. Just a note before I continue, if you prefer a bit more reading than watching, and maybe if you prefer to check some kind of wrong turns I did during this task, there's a link to my blog post which contains a bit more of wrong turns, but not that much. And also here I will try to focus on the path to get the flag, but of course I will include some of the additional information I did during solving this challenge. Okay, so the first thing I did actually is to do some recon. So I checked the Never Leaks and Mike Schwarzberg in Google, and actually you can get some hits on those, which I guess is just a coincidence. Of course, you don't get those two together. There's like a few Mike Schwarzbergs online and Never Leaks. I think it's Never Leak company. But what else I did was just to check this Twitter handle and actually check who is who's in following for this Twitter handle. And mostly those are guys, I guess, from the Securing. But I focus on Paweł Rzepa, who's actually writes about AWS vulnerabilities, and I read one of his article where he first introduced some of the AWS concept, and then talks about some tools you can use. This is the first time I did anything with AWS, so I didn't know what tools you can use. So that was really nice article to read for like someone who doesn't know anything about AWS at all. So the tool he recommends is this Lazy S3, and this is actually what I used to move forward. I can show you what I did. So basically I have this tool here, and this is just a Ruby script. So you run it and you give the name Analytica, and it will take a while, but during the checking you will find out that there is not only this confidential bucket, but there is also one more, and the other one is named backup. So let's put some notes. So we have Tika backup, and having that I move forward. So what I did was use this AWS command line interface, which has quite nice features you can use to actually work with AWS. So I use it to check if actually I can access that. To access that bucket, and I guess okay. So I got some hits on the on this bucket, so that was good. That was a step forward. So what else I did was to actually copy the whole content of this bucket, and we can also do it by using this AWS, just by using sync command. I have made made some typo. krkanalytica backup. Okay, it should be correct now. Yeah, okay, so we are downloading. It's first calculating. I think there's around 1,000 files that has to be copied. Yeah, we have some like hits on this lazy S3, but for now we don't need that. Okay, so now the files are being copied to my PC. So that was a first major step. So actually getting those backup files, because there's a lot of stuff we can work on. Okay, so we have the files. There's quite a lot of files actually. I did spend some time on the blog, which contains the user SQL file where you can find some kind of hashes with the user. I thought maybe that's the way to go to crack those hashes and maybe find some open, or maybe not open, but find some WordPress you can log in and continue there. But actually that was not the case. The way to go was to go to test and mails and mic. And here we have few mails. Also this one was something I thought might be the way to go, but yeah, maybe there is, I don't know, it looks like the link is broken. But AWS security instance, it's quite interesting mail, because in that we can see that there is like a instance created and some snapshot. And that was quite interesting to me, because I didn't know you can like make snapshots publicly available. Remember, this is the first time I'm doing anything with AWS. So this is the next piece of a puzzle. So that there is a snapshot with ID so let's put it also in our notes. And if you go to this AWS management console, which I just had to create because I didn't have any, you can search for those snapshots. And of course, I already have it searched. You need to switch to public snapshot because by default it's owned by me. And I think I needed to change the region. I think it searches in the same region as you have selected. And yeah, we have the snapshot that is mentioned in the mail. So that was another step. Having the snapshot, I think you need to create a volume, and then from that you can create an instance attaching that volume. I don't know if it can be done easier. Remember, the first time doing anything with AWS, but this is how I did it. So I had the instance with this snapshot attached by a new volume I created. So having that, I could do another thing. So actually I could log in to this machine. So let me do it right now. SSH EC2, and yeah, I just need to EC2 at, I think that was the user name. Yes, so let's just copy the name, and we should be able, permission denied. Was that different user? Let me just check, what was it? Okay, it's EC2 user. So let's just copy this and try again. Well, actually I'm not using what I copied, user. Okay, and now we are in this instance, and if we list, we see there's some AWS tools which are mentioned in the mail. So if we go into the folder, we can see some of the tools like krkanalytica Harvester, Prowler, and Scout 2. I didn't know those tools, but the first one, yeah, sounded like something as created especially for this krkanalytica company. So I just went there. And yeah, actually there's like I had some problem here because yeah, this listing doesn't list hidden files, and that wasn't obvious for me, because if we would do like this, we can see this Git folder. So this is just created from the repository. I think there was some mention in the README that they are created from the repository, but yeah, I didn't notice that at the moment when I was doing that. But when I saw it, I immediately thought about like, yeah, maybe some keys were committed to this repository and then only removed, because if we check this py file, there was no credential. So if we did like git log, which is I did, and yeah, oops, forgot to remove access keys. Yeah, so this is something we can try to get. And if we just like query a bit with a bit more of the information, we can immediately see the AWS access key and AWS secret access key. And yep, we can use that. So maybe let's just copy to our notes for a second. And this one. So we have that. So that's like almost everything we need. So let's just exit and AWS configure. I think that's the correct. And now if we copy those and paste it to our configuration, copy, paste, we keep the region. Okay, and now let's try to access the confidential. I'm not sure if the listing, yeah, listing works. Okay, so we can see secret codes. I think what I did was just cp secret codes text to the local machine and cut secret codes, and we get the QR code. And at first I was like, well, I thought there's supposed to be some flag, but actually if we read the challenge again, it says, yeah, we should send the file. But of course the file link has a link somewhere. You can check that yourself. But yeah, that was the whole challenge. So the file has to be sent to this email address, and yeah, the challenge is solved. Although I did not be one of the 9, so I guess I was too late, but still great challenge. Thanks Securing for doing that. And yeah, I hope you learned something. I learned a lot. Yeah, I didn't know anything about AWS, and now I know a bit more. So yeah, it was fun for me, and thanks for watching, and see you next time.